there. Today we are going to be learning about fables. Do you know what a fable is? If you don't, that's okay. We've already read a fable together in reading. We've read the book, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And so we're going to go over this here in a little bit, but I just want to give you an example that we've already read this story before. And we did do the play, but it's the same thing. It's a fable. Okay? So let's go ahead and talk about fables. Fables are fictional stories. What does the word fictional mean? Does it mean real or not real? Not real. It's not. It's fake, right? These stories are normally short, meaning it's not going to take you very long to read the story. It's going to take you maybe like 10 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It's not going to take you an hour. It's not like a chapter book. It's just they're shorter, okay? They were written a long time ago. What does that mean? They were written a long time ago. So did the person that made up the story, did they write it last year, a month ago, or a long time ago, like many years ago? Many years ago, long time ago. The characters in a fable are usually animals that act like humans. So does that mean, let's see, the tortoise and the hare is an example of a fable. So that means that the tortoise and the hare, they're acting like people. They're acting like humans. Is that right? Well, yeah, they're talking to each other and they're in a race, right? Do tortoises and hares usually race each other? No, right? So the setting is typically outside. So the where part of the story is outside for the most part. And then the story teaches a moral lesson. What does that mean, a moral lesson? Well, there's usually something that happens in the story and you learn from it. You can say, okay, well, now I know this is a good example for me not to do this, or you should always do this. It's an example, right? A moral lesson. Okay, so I'd like to do, since we read this fable already, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, I would like to see if we can't find any of these elements of a fable in this book. So let's go ahead and talk about it real quick. Let's actually go over, just in case you don't remember. So here's the little boy, right? And his father asked him to watch the sheep, right? Because sometimes the wolf comes down and, the wolf can attack the sheep, right? And they don't want that. The townspeople do not want that. They want the sheep to be okay because they need him. So the boy's job was to watch them. But what happened? He kept telling little lies, right? He kept saying, wolf, wolf, wolf. And was there a wolf the first time? The second time? The third time? By the third time, the wolf was there, and nobody believed him because he kept saying it over and over, wolf, 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 but there was no wolf there, so he kept lying, right? So at the end of the story, he talks with his father, and his father tells him, you're not supposed to be doing that. People aren't going to believe you if you tell a lie, right? Let me see. I'm actually going to go to that page. And from that moment on, Joseph knew he must always tell the truth so that people could believe him and trust him. So, what was the moral that we, the reader, can take from The Boy Who Cried Wolf? To always lie, and people are going to listen to you? No! If you lie and you tell little fibs over and over again, people aren't going to believe you. So you must learn to tell the truth so people will believe you, right? So that was the moral of the story. So check on that. The setting was typically outside. I'm not going to go through all the pages, but here's just an example. This story does take place outside. So check on that one. The characters in a fable usually animals that act like humans. No, not in this story, but it said usually, not all the time. For most stories they do, but in The Boy Who Cried Wolf, that's not true. There's no animals that act like humans in this one. They were written a long time ago. This story was written a long time ago. How do I know? This story was retold. Retold means that Jenny Giles, she's not the one who first came up with this story. Whoever came up with this story, she got that story and made it into her own. She changed a few things, right? But this story was written a long time ago. These stories are normally short. Yes, I can read the story to you and be done with it within like 10 minutes. So it's not very long. And then fables are fictional stories. So was this story true? Did this really happen? No, it was fake. It's a made-up story. Okay? So those are, we went over the elements, and the only thing that we couldn't check off was there's no characters in the story that act like humans, but most fables there are. So let's go ahead and do this together. So I already have it filled out, the boy who cried wolf. And we're going to talk about the elements of the main character, problem and solution, and moral of the story. So, who were the main characters? His name was Joseph, and he was the boy who cried wolf. So Joseph is the boy who cried wolf, right? Okay. So he's the main character. What was the problem? I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. Give a thumbs up when you know what the problem was. If you need more time, just pause the video. But the problem was Joseph kept shouting, wolf, wolf, wolf. But there was no wolf. So he was lying, right? So that was the problem. All right. So what was the solution or resolution? Remember, solution and resolution, they mean the same thing. I'm going to write resolution. What was the resolution? How was the problem fixed? I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. Well, the boy learned his lesson, didn't he? Joseph learned lying is not good. Because people won't believe you if you lie. So that was a little lesson that he learned. Okay, now what was the moral or lesson? Remember, I know that one, that's kind of tricky for fables. Moral and lesson. What was the moral? I told you what he learned. Something that we can learn from the story. Okay, if you need more time, just pause the video, but telling the truth is the right thing to do, right? So that's what we can learn from the story. Telling the truth is the right thing to do because people will believe you, right? Because remember, Joseph kept saying, wolf, 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 and there was no wolf. He kept doing it over and over again. But when a wolf actually came, no one believed him because he kept lying, and they were like, he's just lying, he's just lying. But when he actually needed help, they wouldn't help him because they didn't believe him. So what can we learn from the story? Telling the truth is the right thing to do because people will believe you. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this little lesson over fables, and I hope you enjoy the rest of reading.